Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning to all.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. People are still coming and joining.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. I'm giving 2 minutes more. So before I start with today's class, today I will release your marks, students. Nothing. I just have to press a button and release the marks. So that I'll do today. I apologize for not being able to send those marks earlier because I was stuck with some or the other thing. So I hope you all are doing your practice at home. You are doing your practicals at home. Please use the PyDroid application on mobile phone. If all those who don't have a laptop, you can easily just download and install the PyDroid application on your phone and you can practice. Okay, it works in both script mode also as well as in the interactive mode also. Okay, so I will maybe today I'll upload one tutorial on using PyDroid. So all those who don't have a computer, you can easily practice Python on your smartphone. Secondly, if there is anyone who hasn't submitted the practical files, please do that at the earliest, right? And uh, we had started. I hope you have already seen the offline lecture. Please don't lose touch with it. Watch the offline lectures regularly as they are posted to you, because already we are taking a lot of pains in recording that. Okay, it's not easy, it's not an easy task. Okay, recording everything, always being conscious about whether your whether the board is looking clear or not. Okay, always worrying about lighting and all the things, and then editing and then uploading. All of this takes time. Okay, it's time, it's a painstaking process. So please, it's my request to all, you don't have to do anything. Rather, you just have to open your YouTube app and just watch the offline video, right? So please do watch it. It will be helpful for you in case you don't understand something during the online class. The same thing is there in the offline class also. Okay, it's not like whatever I teach in the online class, I don't teach it in the offline class. The content is the same, right? So please do watch that, because that will be an added benefit to you, right? So please do that. And because this whole year I think we have to carry on with this only, so please keep your preparation strong, because you have to not only prepare for this year's final exam, but for next year also. Okay, so please keep your preparation strong to practice regularly. If not every day, at least every alternate day, you should find some time to practice, right? And I will start giving you some practice questions from today, which for this you have to maintain a rough copy. That is, you can buy a thick register, rough register from the market, and you can work on that. Okay. And those who are unable to go outside because of area being quarantined, okay, or any problem like that, I'm going to upload a very nice, I'm going to upload a video on YouTube regarding how to use Microsoft OneNote. So Microsoft OneNote is a notebook application which you, it's just like having a physical notebook. Okay, so instead of buying a physical notebook, you can easily use that application. You don't have to pay anything for that, and you can have as many number of pages as you can in it, and it just works like your notebook. You can uh, all you have to do is just type. Okay, so you have to type and you can collect notes in that, right? And notes, I'll be giving you the notes, but I suggest you people should, instead of waiting for me, you should make a habit of making notes. I'll tell you why. If when you start making your notes, you are also doing some research and study on your part. So you are learning in that process. तो आधा तो आप उसी से सीख लोगे. Okay. So make it a habit to make notes. In our time, we never used to get notes from our teachers. We used to make our own notes. And that makes you self-dependent. Okay. Rather than being dependent on someone, you will not continue getting notes. When you go to the college, you will not get notes from anyone. You'll have to create your own notes. So make it a habit from now itself. From now, if you start making notes, you will not find it difficult in future. But it's not like I'm not going to send you notes. I will send you, but it's just that I am running a little bit short on time because I have to manage multiple things. Okay. So please don't entirely depend on me. You start doing your work. No, OneNotes is an application. You can sign in through your Teams ID also there. Okay, because this Teams, Microsoft Teams ID is not Microsoft Teams ID. It's a Microsoft ID. Just like your Gmail ID is valid on all apps of Gmail. Similarly, this Microsoft ID is applicable on all apps of Microsoft. Okay, so you can use that Shlok. Okay, so we are going to start with today's class. In the previous class, we had seen simple if, we had seen if else statement, we had seen cascading. Did we see cascading? No, we didn't see cascading yesterday. Cascading if. So we will see that. But before that, few more simple programs I want to give you. So I'm just sending you a program through chat. Please do it right now and post your answers, and then we'll proceed with the next. It's write a program to, just a second, let me first write it. Yes, I've sent it. Just check your chat box. Write a program to accept a number A and check whether it is divisible by another given number B or not. So just do it. Yes, hurry up. It's a very simple and easy question. Start posting your answers. Yes, correct answer, Vedant. Very good. Shlok also send me. Yes, correct answer. Only 2 students send me the answer. Others, hurry up. Correct. Enum you have to ask from the user. Dhruv Chaudhary, enum has to be asked from the user.
Ma'am, but you have said that only one number should be accepted.
Another number B. I have written another number B. Another number B. Read the question carefully.
ma'am.
Value of B is not known. Yes, correct answer. Ishan Mathur also correct answer. Very good. Okay, so I'm just going to display my screen now. So this is the program. It's a very simple program. You just have to check whether A is divisible by B or not. And for that, you have to use what? You have to use the modulus operator. So all the others, those who have not sent me the screenshot, I'm sending you the answer. Please check box. Okay, now we will start today with cascading if else ladder. Just a second, what is the issue here? Please write the heading cascading if else ladder. Now in this you have the syntax in this way. Just a second, students. Okay, there is a lot of disturbance from. Sorry for the disturbance. I think you can also hear that sound coming from the apartment just above our apartment. So we are looking into it. We have statement 1, elif condition 2. We have statement 2, elif condition 3. Statement 3. And this can continue up to any level. This can continue up to any level. If condition N, statement N. Okay, so this is what it is. Over here we have, you can see it becomes a ladder, right? If condition 1 is checked, so I'm just going to draw the flowchart here. Before that, I'll explain this. If condition 1 is true, statement 1 is executed, and the control comes to the statement immediately after the if statement, that is after this if block. Now the if block is this big. This is your if block, right? ये elif के last statement तक if block आपका रहेगा, right? So if condition 1 is true, statement 1 will be executed and control will come out of your if block, right? If condition 1 is false, statement 1 will also not be executed. So I'm just going to write a skip statement over here. And what will happen? Second condition will be checked. If this condition is true, statement 2 will be executed and if block will be exited. Got it? Similarly, if condition 1 is false, 2 is false, 3 is true. So statement 3 will be executed and it will come out of the else block. Right? Okay, one more thing I forgot. I'm just going to write that also. I'm going to add that also over here. You can stop your if block up to the last elif condition also, and if you want you can add a last resort also over here, that is else statement, else statement. Understood? So this last statement else which you have added over here, it is the last resort. If none of the conditions is true, then whatever is in the else part will be executed. Now this else part is optional. If you want, you can provide it. If you want, you can even evade it. Okay, that is if suppose your work is accomplished by using one if condition and 2 or 3 elif conditions only, and you don't require a last resort. In that case, you can even omit this last else part. Got it? Okay, now I'm going to tell you how you can create its flowchart. We will create its flowchart and try to understand it pictorially from there. I hope you have gotten into a habit of drawing a flowchart every time. Okay, that will help you to develop your logic. Now, we can have any number of statements before this. And we are drawing a diamond shaped symbol which stands for a decision box. Okay, I'll just take a moment to explain the different types of such flowchart symbols to you. Please pay attention. Some flowchart symbols. Take a fresh page on your copy and just write flowchart symbols over there. So first you have this box. Sorry, I'm very sorry, not this. You have an ellipse which stands for start or stop. Okay, that is for beginning the flowchart or ending the flowchart. Second is, please draw these diagrams in your copy, okay? This is your input box. Third, just the opposite parallelogram. This is your output box. Fourth, a rectangle. This is your process box. All processing statements go to this box. Diamond, decision box. Number 6, you have these small connectors with an alphabet written. They are code connectors. They are used for connecting different parts of a program. Okay, and these are arrows, or arrow used for directing program control flow. Please write these down in your copy, students. These are standard symbols for drawing a flow chart. So whenever you are working with a flow chart, please use these symbols for drawing the flow chart first. Okay. So we will understand how to draw a flow chart, how to write a pseudocode. I will tell that in the next class. Pseudocode is usually a type of algorithm. That is, you are not using any programming language. You are only devising out the program structure by using common English language statements. Okay. And there is a decision tree which we generally make for such kind of cascading if-else ladder problems. Okay. So we will be moving one at a time. So please draw these boxes first in your copy. And once you complete, give me a yes so that we can continue. Yes. Yes, tell me what happened. You have done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. झगड़ा फोगड़ा करवे थे। Okay, students, just give me a yes if you have completed. Others, I'll move forward, then I won't ask anything to you then. If you have drawn it in your copy, please tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Done? Okay. Okay, I've already given you enough time. Those who have not done it, you can watch the recording and draw it later on. Okay. So we are over here. We have a decision box because we have to check conditions. So I'm just writing here condition 1 and a question mark after this. That is the condition true or not. So if it is true, execute statement 1. Now I'm writing statement 1 within process box because this could be any statement. It could be an input statement, output statement, processing statement, any statement. So I'm taking a general outlook over here. This is statement 1, whatever it is. Okay. So this is in case it is yes. When it is no, when the condition is false, again draw another decision box where condition 2 will be checked. Condition 2. So if it is yes, execute what? Statement 2. If it is no, execute again, check another condition, that is your condition 3. If it is yes, execute statement 3. And if it is no, you'll be going for condition 4 and so on. So I'm just drawing dots over here. Likewise, you will be getting the last condition, that is condition N. So if condition N is true, execute statement N. Okay, and if it is false, then we have the else part, which is the last resort. So statement. You can also just denote it by statement last. Now what to do? In case condition 1 is true, statement 1 is executed, move on to the next, execute statement 1 and move on to the next block of statements. Okay, statement 2 is executed, same. Statement 3 is executed, join it over here. Statement 4 is executed, join it over here. Okay, whichever statement is executed after that, you can see that program control flow, whichever path you follow, program control flow will always reach the next block of statements. Take a very good look at this, students. These are some statements which lie before checking condition. These are some statements which lie after any of these statements are executed. Okay, if condition 1 is true, execute statement 1, and you can see that this entire part is not executed if either one of the conditions is true. So this is also known as branching, because the program control flow branches into any one statement or any one edge or any one branch in this decision tree, okay, in this particular flow chart, depending upon the condition which it satisfies. Okay, so this is also known as a branching construct. So over here, if condition 1 is true, execute statement 1 and move on to the next two statements. You don't have to worry about any of these conditions. Okay, if condition 1 is false, first condition 1 will be checked. If it is false, move on to the next condition. Check that condition. If it is true, execute statement 2, move on to the next block of statements. If again condition 2 is also false, then check condition 3. So it's like this. First check condition 1, then 2, then 3, and so on. And if none of the conditions is true, what will be executed? This last statement will be executed, because it's the last alternative, the last option, the last resort. Okay, जब कोई भी condition आपकी true नहीं हो, तो last resort को हम execute करेंगे. Is it clear to everybody? This is the general structure of cascading if-else ladder. So you just see, it looks like a ladder which is kept horizontally on the ground. If you want, if you write no here, then it would become a vertical ladder also. Okay, so it just resembles a ladder. And if you even check the syntax, it also resembles a ladder from where you are climbing down the ladder. Okay, आप ऊपर से start करते हो, एक एक करके आप नीचे उतरते जाते हो. Got it? So this is how this ladder works. It is known as cascading if-else ladder. The word cascading comes from, you might have seen a river in a hilly region. Okay, all the waves, they keep cascading, that is follow each other. Even waves on the ocean, they are cascading, that is they follow each other. So you can see that here conditions, they just follow each other, hence it is known as cascading if-else ladder. Okay, so this is cascading if-else ladder. Now depending on this, we are going to solve some problems. Okay, please write down the syntax in your copy and draw its flowchart, its general flowchart also. This is cascading if-else ladder. I'm just going to, yes, first write its syntax and then draw the flowchart. And tell me once you complete.
রাস্তা এখন বন্ধ আছে কি?
Yes, tell me quickly if you have completed.
Ma'am, written.
Okay. Others also, I at least need 3 to 4 such yes.
Complete.
Completed. Okay, fine. Can you draw the flow chart in your copy? That is a homework. Okay, so all of you, you will be drawing this flow chart on your own. Will you be able to draw it or should I send it to you? I believe you can draw this flow chart. It's no big deal. Just take a good look at it. Okay, you will start from A, check condition 1, execute statement 1, go to B. If it is yes, execute statement 1. If it is no, check the second condition and so on. Okay, we start with our next part. That is, we start with a question. So I'm giving you a question. Please note it down. Okay, write a program in Python to accept a number and say whether it is positive, negative, or zero. I'm sending this to you through chat. Yes, everybody look in your chat box. I have sent the question to you. Tell me something, how you check whether a number is positive. When is a number positive? Wait, I will ask the students, okay? Now, all those who have been answering regularly, they can just be a little quiet and I'll ask someone else. Okay, I can see Kritagya Shukla today. Are you there, Kritagya Shukla?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Kritagya, tell me, how do you check whether a number is positive? When is a number positive? How do you say that a number is positive? Send your answers through chat, everyone. All others can send their answers through chat. How do you check whether a number is positive? ये आप कैसे देखते हो? Hurry up. Janvi, 11th D, are you there? Janvi? Okay, everyone look here. This is your number line, okay? And we have a zero in the middle. Just a sec, just a sec. These are all the integers which lie towards the right hand side of 0. And these are integers which lie on the left hand side of 0. Do you get a hint now? How can you decide that these numbers are positive and these numbers are negative? Come on, come on. It's not a difficult rocket science question. Yes, very good, Kritagya. It is a greater than 0. If a number a is greater than 0, then it is said to be positive. So you can see it over here also. Numbers which are greater than 0, they are positive. Which are less than 0, they are negative. And 0 is of course 0. Okay. Now we will be using cascading if, elif, else ladder to create this program. So before that, let us first create a short flow chart for this. So we first start our program using the start box. Okay. Second box will be which box? Tell me. We have to accept a number from the users. So it is going to be an input box. So I'm going to write read a number. What you do is read a number or accept a number. You can write anything because here we are not writing program statements. These statements are simple English statements. Okay, you have to use the common English language which you use in your daily life to converse with each other for writing these statements. So I am taking number as num. Okay. Now you know how will you check whether a number is positive. So I'm just going to draw a decision box here and I'm going to write here, is num greater than 0? I'm asking a question. If the answer is yes, what will be printed? Because print is there, that is output statement, so I'm using output box. I will say num is, I can write positive like this. Okay, I'm just writing it this way to save time. Okay, and our program ends, nothing else is asked in the question, so I will simply write stop. Okay, now my next part is, if it is no, what do I need to do? I need to check whether the number is negative or not, or I can also check whether it is 0, because the last resort will be what is not satisfied in both the conditions. So I am taking num as if num is less than 0. If it is yes, then I will print that num is negative and end the program by going to the stop box. And if it is no, then what is it? The last resort is, if the number is neither positive nor 0, that means that number is what? It is 0. I will write num is zero, 0. Okay, and go to the next, go to the stop box. Let us do a dry run. I had told you what is a dry run. Dry run is just simply imagining that you are a processor, you are a Python interpreter and executing your program. So here we will go with the flow chart. Read a number num. So anybody give me any number. Give me any number. कुछ भी number do. Students, you can at least give me a number. Anyone?
7.
Okay, 7. So I'm taking 7 as the number here. Okay, now is number greater than 0? Is 7 greater than 0?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what will be printed in the output? Num is positive. And instead of num, what will be printed? This way. 7 is positive and stop. Next, give me any number.
-5.
-5. Okay. Is num greater than 0? Is -5 greater than 0? Answer is no. Come to the next condition. Is num less than 0? Yes. Print num is negative. That is 7 is negative. And go to stop. And if you give 0, it will check this condition. It will check this condition and it will finally print 0 is ZERO, and it will go to stop. Is this clear to everyone?
No,
Let's
ma'am.
write. No.
Ma'am,
Okay.
why 7 would be negative? Ma'am, 5 I have given.
Sorry. Yes,
Oh.
my mistake. I have written it wrongly. It is -5 here and it is 0 over here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. And this one is 7. So this is the output for 3 different conditions. In case when number is positive, when number is negative, and when number is 0. So when you are testing any such program which contains a number of different conditions, you have to use the test data which is of different type. Okay. So you have to use different types of test data to test your program. So whenever you people are writing a program, please test it. And also do the dry run compulsorily, because this dry run will help you to understand the logic also, and it will also help you to catch hold of any bug in your program. Bug means any kind of logical error. That is error in the logic. Any kind of logical error is known as bug. So this will also help in debugging the program. That is debug. That is correcting the code to remove the logical error. Understood? So this will help you in doing this. Now let us write a program for this. Okay. So I have already, okay, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to name it as, I'm going to save it in a particular location. You might have noticed I usually save all my programs in this one location. So I'm just writing here positive, negative 0. Already I had created a program, so I'm going to just use that name itself. So num equals, I can write eval, put enter a number. Okay. If num is greater than 0, print num is positive. So I'm just writing it to save time. If num less than 0, print num is negative. Else what? Print num is 0. Okay, let's run the program. It is negative. It is positive. It is 0. So I'm sending this question to you all. Please check it. If something wrong, Vedant. Now you can also check negative value first, then you can check whether it is 0, then you can check whether, then you can use the last resort as positive. You can change the order according to your requirement. Okay, you can make it negative positive 0, positive negative 0, positive 0 negative, any combination you want, you can do it. Your program will give you the correct answer. Is it clear? Okay, now next program is, I'm going to give you an interesting program, right? Wait a second. Wait a second. I got this from your textbook itself, but it's an interesting question. Yes. Let's look at this question. One second. I think I took the wrong. I had to take it from here. Yes, let's read this. Let us imagine another hypothetical situation. Aryan has taken admission in a new school in another city and is staying in the school hostel. This Sunday, Aryan's old friends may visit him. Okay. So Aryan has decided to spend his Sunday as per this plan. If his friends visit him, just a sec, let me take the attendance, students. I'll first complete this, okay? If his friends visit him, he will go with them for city tour. If they don't come, he will play FIFA with his roommate if his roommate is free. Otherwise, depending upon money in his pocket, he may eat out in a restaurant or from small cafe in hostel premises, or will simply eat Maggi noodles. So this is what we are going to discuss in our next class. Okay, so we will make it quite interesting, and I will also keep a surprise question for you, which will be kind of like a game. Okay, so we will create that in our next class. That game will be dependent on this cascading if else statement only, a decision making game. Okay, so we will take that and we will try to create that kind of a situation, right? So we will do it in our next class. So I hope you all have understood today's class. Please do practice it and keep revising all your chapters. And basically for programming, you don't need to read much. You only need to practice things. Okay. So please keep in touch with your self studies. We will meet again in the next class. Thank you, everyone.